echo?
I don't have a lot of echo here. I can hear you fine.
Fix.
You're just kind of breaking up a little bit. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
You can hear me? Good. Well, I'm going to step out of the way. I've already introduced you to our classroom.
Okay.
And, they're looking forward to hearing from you today. So I'll let you just open up and tell a little bit about what you do and who you are.
Okay, thank you. Hi, all. My name is Christy Valentine, and I live in Houston, and I work in public relations, and I do some social media training and consulting. My background is mostly in news, so I worked as a newspaper reporter and in print and a broadcast journalism, radio. I worked on websites and social media for news, so that's a little bit about me. But I'm here to talk about personal branding. And personal branding is the process of managing and optimizing the way you are presented to others. So basically, it's you're in control of how others see you. And the biggest key in managing your personal brand is social media today. So think about when people Google your name, and they will, your social media accounts are going to pop up. And so you want what they see to be the best representation of you. And they might mean prospective colleges, college recruiters, prospective bosses, or even prospective boyfriends and girlfriends. Whoever happens to Google you in the entire world, what they see is your personal brand. So I guess in order to establish your personal brand and figure out those steps to take, first you need to figure out who are you? How do you want to package yourself online? And so you have to think about, what do you want to be known for? What sets you apart from everybody else? This could be things that you're really good at or really passionate about, whether it's sports or science or technology or dance or animals, anything like that. These things that you're good at and passionate about, you want to tap into. And then you also want to think, are these things that I'm still going to be interested in 6 months to a year from now? Because consistency is really important too. So your entire online presence should be reinforcing these passions and these goals. So after you figure out and you've made a list of things like character traits and qualities and values that you want to embody, you can use that to shape your voice on social media. So things like, if you want to be perceived as helpful or genuine or funny, these are all things that you can take and use to shape your voice and the type of language that you use and how you'll address certain situations on and offline. But with your tone of voice, you just want to be, again, consistent across all platforms. And you want to make sure that you're using this personal brand, this outline of things and values and passions and goals, as a guide whenever you engage on social media. So you really want to, and I'm sure this has already been drilled into y'all a ton, but think before you post or react to posts from others. So is what you're about to say or do going to help or hurt your personal brand? That always has to be on the forefront of your mind. And that's even, triple checking things before you post them to make sure there aren't spelling errors or grammatical errors, making sure you're not being insensitive to anyone or any situation. But everything that you post and say and do just kind of have in mind your personal brand and how this is going to affect how you're portrayed. Also, you know, a big part of being on social media is the content that you produce. So whether you're, and it's not too soon to start writing blog posts. Are any of y'all writers or already do blogging at all? There you go. So any blog posts that you write, keep them in mind with keep them in line with things that you're really passionate about or really good at. And even if you're not a writer or not writing blog posts yet or anything like that, you can share articles and links and information that are in line with those things. And of course, photos and videos and all of that stuff, it all just adds up and becomes the package that is the online version of you, which is your personal brand. Also, you know, content is really important, but so is engagement. So joining communities, like participating in Twitter chats, joining Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups with like-minded people, connecting with other people there. Because if you're consistently contributing helpful insight and you keep conversations going, people are going to remember you and your community will grow, and that just helps build your personal brand. It's all, again, I can't drive home again how important this whole consistency thing is. That also carries over to your account names. So say you have a Snapchat username, you'd also want your username to be the same or as close as possible to your other social media usernames, because you don't want to force people to hunt for you. So trying to get the same name on like Twitter and Instagram, et cetera, or at least a standard variation of the same name, if that isn't possible. First and last name, I can tell you professionally, like in college and beyond, is going to be the standard and your best bet, just sticking with your name. Because then you can use those for the rest of your life. When you're 30, think about, what are y'all now, like 15, 16? But you got, by the time you're 30, you have 15 years worth of a following built up on social media. That's something I couldn't do, because when I was in 9th grade, social media wasn't a thing. It didn't exist. So you can build up followers, but by the time you're 30, you'll have all these followers, but you don't want to be telling coworkers and colleagues and people you meet professionally, like, oh, you can find me at Arlington Hottie 12357, something like that. You want to try to find a name that is professional and that you can keep, because that your personal brand follows you. It's really powerful, because it really, for all intents and purposes, is you. It's your reputation, and that personal brand and how you're represented online can make or break you, whether it's in college, in your career, personally, professionally. And that personal brand is something that will outlast every school you attend, every job you have, because you're building this community around your personal brand, and that community is going to follow you as you change workplaces or careers. I'll tell you a little bit about my personal brand experience. I really didn't focus on that at all until very recently, because I was working for newsrooms. So I just focused on building up the brand that I was working for. And so switching jobs and then switching careers, all I had to show for all the time and effort that I put in online was, well, look at my former employer's Twitter account or Facebook page, or like, oh, I set up this Instagram for this news station, but that's not my name, that's not my brand, and I can't carry that with me. I can't take it with me anywhere. And so I could only point people to those other companies, and I had nothing to show for it personally. But now that I'm building up a personal brand and getting Twitter followers and Snapchat followers and Instagram followers for me, Christy Gillentine, that's going to keep following me no matter where I move or what I do. I am Christy Gillentine now. I'm not just Christy Gillentine, employee of XYZ company. And so that's a little bit, I'll also tell you that, how I kind of structured how I want to be perceived online, helpful, because I want people to know that they can reach out to me if they ever have a question. Like your professor here, or your teacher, he reached out and said, can you come talk to my students? Absolutely. That's part of my personal brand, is being somebody who's known as being helpful. And also, I try to be lighthearted. You want to be sure to have a personality and not just be stiff. Personal brand and being professional online doesn't mean that you have to be boring. In fact, if you are boring, people probably won't like it very much. So, feel free to show your personality, be yourself, but be genuine and real. And yeah, that's about all I have prepared. So do y'all have any questions?
Actually, we do. They do have 3 or 4 questions, and if any of them pertain to you or the company that you work for there in Houston, maybe you can help with those questions a little bit. I'm going to invite them to come and sit on the stool here, and that way they can ask their question.
Hi.
Hi. What kind of personal brand do you use?
I'm sorry?
What kind of personal brand do you use? Wait.
Don't fall.
What kind of social media?
What kind of social media? I use, for my personal brand, I at this time don't have a Facebook page, because I see more value in things like Snapchat. So Snapchat is my big one right now. I'm all about it. I'm all in on Snapchat. Also, Twitter is my second big one. So at this time, Snapchat and Twitter.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
I'm sorry I look like crap.
No, you don't. You're beautiful.
I just wanted to ask, how has social media changed the presidential election?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. I think that social media, it's so much closer to people now. They're experiencing it in completely different ways. Like Snapchat, which has never happened before. And, the presidential candidates are able to communicate directly with the people in a way that they've never been able to do before. And so, the whole idea of social media bringing people closer together and deepening relationships, it's been interesting to see how that also carries over to these presidential candidates. It's also, news organizations are using social media to spread news more too. I think it's been good because more people are more informed about issues. So yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Go get him, Jonathan.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
What do you think is the best social media to use for personal branding?
It depends on what your goal is, because each social media platform has a different audience and they're consuming information in different ways. Facebook is for people and brands that we know and love. Twitter is for news gathering and connecting with like-minded people around certain topics. Snapchat is for sharing ourselves and a side of ourselves that we can't share anywhere else and making deeper relationships than we can on other platforms. Instagram is for pretty pictures and videos. It depends on what the goal is. I think, for example, for y'all, you're a photographer or really good with video, Instagram's the way to go. Storyteller and you like sharing pieces of your life and information and having a good fun and connecting with people on a deeper level, Snapchat's the way to go. If you're kind of a news hound, interested in the latest and the latest developments of whatever topic you're into, following Twitter and being a part of Twitter chats around those topics is a good thing. So it really depends on what your goal is. And I use all of them differently just because I'm trying to reach as many people as possible. So that's also an option.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi. Okay, so my question is, what do you think will be the next big development in social media?
You know, I think the next big thing is going to be virtual reality, 360 video, things like that. I think more of these platforms are going to start embracing that. I think there will probably be new platforms coming out just to feature that kind of stuff, because people aren't as interested in just watching something. They want to be a part of it. And that virtual reality and 360 makes them more a part of what's going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Christy, I'm going to ask one quick question, then we'll let you go. But have you seen much happening positively in social media as far as that goes with Periscope yet? People using that for professional reasons?
Absolutely. You know, and Periscope, I think any social media platform is what you make it. So, example, if you only want to see cat videos, you can fill your Twitter feed with nothing but cat videos, or you can fill your Instagram feed with nothing but cat videos. So you make each platform what you make it. All of it is customizable, and the same goes with Periscope. There are people and professionals of all ages and professions. They're bring their expertise on Periscope, and it's really interesting because you have immediate access to them. You can ask them questions and get their immediate feedback. So that's drawing people closer together again. I also see it being used a lot for breaking news. You know, things have broken on Periscope recently, just like things have broken on Twitter. I think that Periscope has quite a bit to. They're making some changes now to make the platform more what people want it to be. Like they're enabling a search feature, so you can search for broadcasts that you want to see, because right now you can't do that. They'll be enabling drone. You can live stream from drones, things like that. But I think Facebook Live is probably, I think most people say that that's going to take the cake as far as the live streaming apps. But, you know, you never know, because people are coming up with different things all the time. There's a new one, Busker, is that it? Busker is a new live streaming app that just came out. But things like Periscope, these live streaming apps are definitely then another big thing taking over social media, just because, again, it puts you in the action. If that answers your question, did that answer your question?
Absolutely, it does. It does. Thank you. And thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
We are going to replay this conversation on Monday and Tuesday with my other classes. And it's actually going to be will be on our YouTube channel. I'll send you the link to that.
Okay, perfect.
Want to save that. So thank you again for coming to us all the way from Houston.
My pleasure. Y'all have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Personal friends.